TGIF for about 12 more minutes. Then it's on to the weekend, the part of the week that most of us work really hard to get to. For me, they're all Mondays because they're all work days. But you know what? Like I said, there's something special about Saturday. We got a lot going on today or tomorrow. We got wrestling, New Japan Wrestling, some great matches I'll be watching tomorrow. We have our Patreon stream tomorrow. We have our Blue Beetle stream on Sunday. We'll get the specifics down after I'm done with the show tonight. I'll post the links in the Patreon. If you would like to be one of my co-hosts on one of these Patreon streams, or in the Patreon itself, you can go ahead at any point in time, support us by joining my Patreon page. There you go. Some of you guys have already gotten movie tickets. Some of you guys are, I got the address. I got the message. One of my Patreons, I sent out a message for you. Give me guys your physical addresses so that I can send you the posters and the mini posters and the stuff that we have from my creator and some of the leftovers and stuff that I have from our promotions. And once I start sending them out, I'll have your address on file, so you'll just get those as I can send them out. I'll try to wait till I can get 2 or 3 of them together so that I don't have to send them out every other time. But yeah, we got digital stuff happening. We got watch alongs happening. So yeah, Patreon is picking up. And slow news day today. Like I said, as far as entertainment goes, a lot of the stuff is laid over. So we're gonna do an open mic, and we're going to whatever you guys want to talk about. The Blue Beetle thing is Sunday, Vince, and yes, to answer your question, how you doing, Spider-Man? Aaron Pritchard, my favorite Australian. Hey, when I do open mic tomorrow, when I do the call-in show tomorrow, because I'm going to reserve a portion of the show for you guys to call in. Aaron, make sure you're there. I want to hear that Australian accent. Fourth 1000, what's going on? All right, so we're saying hi. How you doing, Ray? Glimmering Harpy, what's going on? All right, Damon Boba, long time no see. Hey, William and Sci-Fi Lounge. It's been a minute. Just wanted to say hi. Have a great show. I'm always to see when you guys start, but I watch on a repeat. Hit the like button. Yes, hit the like and subscribe button, please, guys. Like, subscribe, share, and hit the alert button. I guess whatever we can do to spread the word. And yeah, like Damon Bobo, you are in the majority. I mean, we got our little community that's up with me in the owl portions of the day, but the vast majority of people who catch the show catch it on replay, which is fine. That's why I always try to structure my conversation to talk to the people who I know aren't necessarily here at the same time, carrying on a conversation with the people who are with us live. Daniel Martin, what's going on? Yeah, Saturday, 2 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow, about a little bit over 14 hours. We'll be doing it. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna throw out a topic. I am going to let you guys. Dude, these fucking mosquitoes. I've been in Vegas since '93, and I've never had the mosquito problem, and I've never had it this time of year. This is weird, and they're little itty bitty ones too. They're not like the big looking. They're like little gnats. And you can't feel the bite, but man, they've been getting all of us over town. I have, people thinking they got bed bugs. It's like, no, it's not bed bugs. You're getting hit by mosquitoes. Yeah, 2 o'clock tomorrow. Don't know how long it's gonna go, but like I said, I really enjoyed the last Patreon stream we had. It kind of turned into to its own little thing. Yeah, Blue Beetles on Sunday. The Patreon streams tomorrow. And there you go. You can join the Patreon stream. Also, if you'd like to donate support, you can send a tip. The tip link is both in the description with all of our other social media and active links, as well as it is always going to be pinned to the top of the chat at the beginning of most of the shows. Co-hosting, yeah, I don't know if I'm letting you on Patreon or not. Yeah, I don't know. Oh wow, the duck jokes will never end with you, eh, Clinton? No, that's you thinking is usually leading to something I don't want to see. Okay, cool. William, did you request the Halloween Cinematic Universe? No, I requested that Halloween goes away for a while. I just really need. I think the franchise needs some time off. I really do. Patreon call is gonna be the patrons. It is patrons. Yeah, that'll be tomorrow at 2. But the Saturday overnighter, I'm just gonna drop the link in the chat room. So it'll be both. I'll be talking to you guys on both. It's just that the first one is tomorrow at 2 o'clock. The patrons will actually be on the screen with me. They'll be co-hosting the show with me, and we'll be conversing with them. Whereas the overnighter is where I'll drop the link for the chat room in general, whether you're Patreon or not. And what I'll do is, depending on how many we have, I'll cycle through them. Last time we were able to get everybody on who wanted to get on. I didn't have to rotate out too much, but depending on how much time we have and where the conversation goes, I'll let you know. Hey, you got a couple minutes. I'll keep a couple of you on screen, and then if we have a certain amount, we'll cycle in and cycle out so that everybody gets a chance, or who wants to get a chance. What's going on, Jacob? What's Sister Kim's name for William? Money. College tuition. Anthony, nice talking to you over the phone today. Yeah. I have somebody looking into your thing that you wanted made too. I should have a price for you. Give me a couple days because those particular guys are busy making Halloween costume stuff. There used to be a game that I used to play in cool called Duck Duck. Yeah, we all played that. Dang, no more ducks. Patreons of the Patreon. William thought on Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans are reportedly the only 2 MCU actors who have received the full script for Avengers: Infinity War during filming. That makes sense. They were you got to figure they're the only ones that really, because remember how that was shot. That was shot. The only the only people that were throughout in most of the movie were gonna be Captain America and Iron Man. They had to shoot the final scene before everything else was bought in. So that makes sense. Jacob, William thought on a JFK series in the works for Netflix. Netflix sees the series as something like an American version of The Crown. Eric Roth Doom will write the series. Well, you got a good writer. I mean, I studied the hell out of the whole entire Kennedy. It was a very short presidency and relation. It was only 1,000 days. You only had 3. He didn't even have one full term. He was killed in the 3rd year of his term, right as he started running his reelection campaign. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of window of time that they show. The bug problem I heard is from water of flood. Yeah, because we had a lot of water at a time where we weren't supposed to have a lot of water, and we in a lot of places flooded and stayed flooded, and that's where mosquitoes come from. So yeah, I told you guys that rain ruined my life, and like I said, with these goddamn bugs, it's still ruining my life. The duck is dead, Perry. Yes, please. All right, so let me go ahead and put this in here. Copy. There's a tip link. Buy me some coffee this weekend because I'm going to need it tomorrow, man. I'm going to be going between the overnighter stream, the Saturday overnight stream, which I'm working on right now. Give you a preview of some of the things we're going to be talking about tomorrow. We're going to be talking New York Comic Con. Whatever news I can bring you guys up to date on that, because I'm hoping there's going to be some pretty big announcements. New York Comic Con is not necessarily the size of I've never been to New York Comic Con, so I don't know, but I don't know if it's as big, but I'm looking at the list of people that are there. There's a lot of people that are there. Even Alex Ross, who didn't come down. I bought stuff to get signed by Alex Ross, and he wasn't there. His booth was there, but he's at New York Comic Con because it's closer to where he lives. I guess I don't know, but I'm going to bring you news from Comic Con. I have not decided the comic book turning point story. I usually have it by now, but man, this week has been crazy. I sent myself emails. We're going to talk physical media and the news with Best Buy, will stop selling most physical media, which we knew was coming, but it's just a reminder of this cycle that we're in. And I don't think physical media is 100% dead. I think it's 85% dead, but I still think there's room in the market if you can market these things right and you can package these things right. We'll talk a little bit of Rebel Moon. What else we got on the list tomorrow? We'll talk some wrestling. I know that turns a lot of you guys off because you're savages that don't know, good taste. But yeah, we got a couple of different things we're going to talk about. But yeah, I haven't decided my musical story yet. But yeah, a lot of these will come to me real quick. They usually come to me before Thursday, but like I said, I've been all over the place. So yeah, tomorrow's show will be good. And then, like I said, we have our Patreon stream, and then I got customers I got to deal with because it's Saturday. You'll probably, as a matter of fact, as usual, being that the stream is going to be 2 o'clock in the afternoon, right in the heart of the day, I will probably be dealing with customers while I'm talking to you. In fact, I can almost guarantee that we will be dealing with walkthrough, which is fine. The store is part of the show, and the show is part of the store. So, William, why do you think it's so hard to find that item I've been looking for? Did Marvel not really make replicas? Because replicas are tremendously expensive and they don't move. You have a limited market for replicas of that type and that size. And not a lot of people have molds to make them. And the people who do have molds to make stuff like that it's just very expensive. A lot of it is in the work. So, and there's just not a lot of median markets out there that just like Hot Toys. Hot Toys, I mean, I know people who can afford them, but the majority of people cannot afford a Hot Toy. It's just, and replicas of that size, what he's talking about, he wants a more Trident replica, but it's a life size one is going to be pretty expensive. So, and like I said, the market for something that expensive is just not vast, so they don't make too many of them, and that also increases its volume or value. William, have you heard the rumors of MCU doing a soft reboot after? Yeah, I've been hearing it for quite a while. That's the entire point of Secret Wars. The entire point of Secret Wars is to selectively integrate what they want to go forward with and put an end to what they think they've gotten their mileage out of. And to be honest with you, they're doing it right. If you want it, if you ever, you guys know how I feel about reboots, but if you were ever going to do one, you do it the way they're planning on doing it, and you do it with the credibility that they are doing it with. DC's reboot is probably going to hit a lot of obstacles simply because you're only doing it because you screwed up. Marvel's doing it because they've exhausted every aspect of that storyline. They ran that storyline through. DC's doing it because they've screwed up and they don't have the brain power anymore to fix what they broke. So they would just rather do the lazy thing and throw everything away and start with something new. If you have a little kid that keeps breaking the toy, it's not the toy, it's probably the kid. So, yeah. Jacob William thought on Craven was originally pitched as a main villain for Spider-Man No Way Home, but the writers were told the character was unavailable until Sony established him in a solo movie. Well, he could be unavailable beyond that if they don't give Marvel or Disney permission to use him. In order for Disney to use that character, they have to have an agreement between Marvel, and that's any of the subsidiary characters that they're pretty sure that they have to have an agreement. Which if they've had no problem with coming to one, but yeah. So that's why I don't know if you'll see Craven in Tom Holland's area because I don't know what universe what's going to be in until after the Madam Web. Once Madam Web is done, and that's to me, I think that movie's flying under the radar. I think Madam Web is going to establish what's going on. And I think Madam Web, given the nature of her powers, is going to make some of the stuff that doesn't make any sense yet make a lot more sense. So I'm holding out judgment on anything that the Sonyverse is doing until Madam Web comes out and lays the foundation. Can't wait for Bass Reed's only one complaint. Hate how desaturated and murky the show is. David Ayo sounds and looks great. Show looks ugly. Is that by design though? Because I mean, they have everything to do to make it look a different way. I mean, some ways these shows look is by design, but that may be you're also a camera guy too and a film guy, so I think you might be a little bit more skeptical. But yeah, I want to see more coverage of Kennedy Senior's days as a bootlegger during Prohibition, and how he got his son elected to the with the mob. Yeah, Frank Giancana, a lot of the guys in the Louisiana mob, um, a lot of a lot of the Chicago Mafia in Indiana, a lot of those guys, because they controlled the unions. And as a Democrat in the 60s, you were not going to win without the unions, and the unions were very, very powerful. So they did a lot of the footwork, and that's why the mob hated Kennedy so much, because after Joseph Kennedy pulled his strings with his underworld buddies to help get him elected, he basically appoints Bobby Kennedy, who goes after the mob, like like a flamethrower, like a dragon going after Lannisters. Man, he he holds commissions. I mean, a lot of the people thought that once they got him in, they would be in favor, and it was the exact opposite. And that's why a lot of people always conspire that it's the mob that killed Kennedy, and all that crazy stuff comes up. Or with Witch Bass Reeves, there's our serious movie with Michael J. White version that's coming out too. William, what are your thoughts about Marvel completely scrapping Daredevil Born Again, deciding deciding to show you runners instead of action movie directors for TV shows? Well, that's the way it usually runs. When you're doing a movie, a director is more suitable for a movie. A showrunner is a different person. See, when in a movie, the director is God. He's running things. He has his finite thing that he's running, and that's what it is. A showrunner is doing it's a different structure. It's a different animal. So I think that they should always do it that way. And as far as I'm scrapping, we hit on this last night. I would rather you take the route and get what you think you need out of the quality before you release it, or before you get to the point where you make a something that you don't like 3/4 into the way, and you end up having to scrap it. I would rather DC had taken that mentality of the last 5 years and not released most of the stuff that they released, uh, then release it and then have it bomb, and then now here we are again, at square one. I applaud the discipline and the quality control that Kevin Feige has maintained over. And when, you know what, he's making an adjustment when you are supposed to make the adjustment, not after the damn movie's made and you're doing dailies and you decide, oh, we don't like this, and we end up getting a Zack Snyder's Justice League situation, because DC at the time didn't know how to handle their business. I it sucks, because I wanted to see this show. I'm interested in seeing the show, even though I have my fears about this show not being anywhere near what the Netflix version was. I'm still intrigued, but I would rather them nail it and get it right than push something out that they're not happy with. Alex Ross, I'm jealous. Yeah, I was jealous too. I showed you guys my pictures. He had a kick-ass booth, but he wasn't there. So, Jacob, William Thornton, producer Josie Campbell, has addressed why Batman has received more movies than Superman. We kind of hit the slew where people weren't sure what to do with Superman. Well, Superman is less is a less relatable character in some ways. Most people, even though there's no way in hell you'll ever be Bruce Wayne and his skill and everything else, that's why he's a comic book character and a fictional character. Bruce Wayne is a real man that everybody can envision themselves being, even if there's no chance in hell it could be. Bruce Wayne lives and works in a city that a lot of people that can relate to. Superman's more fantastical and more the Superman's what you wish you could be. Batman is what you are more likely to be. And I just have always seen him being, everybody's got that kind of crime. The kind of crime that Batman portrays is the kind of crime people have in their neighborhoods. The kind of corruption Batman that you see in Batman media is the same kind of corruption that everybody in a major city lives in, and even some small ones. And the kind of fighting and the grittiness of, that Batman represents is more in line with the world we live in. But Superman's still immensely popular. He's still Superman. But that's why it's easier. To me, only certain directors can get Superman right. And I mean, Zack Snyder was one of those. You have to have the proper tone and the proper balance to have to make Superman connect with the general audience, and I don't think very many people can do that. I think it's a lot easier for Batman to fall within their skill set than anything else. David Io's Outlaws Bass Reeves. JFK's daughter is just ambassador to Australia. William thought on director Francis Lord says he regrets splitting Mockingjay into two films. I have zero opinion about that. I do the what is it I know Jennifer Lawrence movies. I can't even think of the name of those movies. Catching Fire and all that stuff. I've never seen those movies. I've never read the book, so I don't have an opinion on that. Monarch, yeah, we're gonna be watching that. I think if that releases the way like at midnight or whatever, or when I can get home and set up watch parties, I want to do watch parties. I'm looking forward to Monarch. I love Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell's never failed me, even when he was in crappy movies, he was the best part about it. I loved his son in Falcon and Winter Soldier, the U.S. agent, Wyatt. And I love the premise of this. I think this is where you explain Monarch, not in the movies where you can drag down the movies, but this is where you explain Monarch and you can develop the characters over the course of time. So this is going to be a good couple of months for Godzilla and kaiju fans. You got Godzilla -1, which it looks amazing, and then you have this show that looks amazing. So you're going to eat well if you are into Godzilla. We did bury the duck, but it wasn't a pet sim. Oh my goodness! And I can hear Clint laughing at his own jokes because he probably thought that shit was funny. No more banged up damage. Steelbooks from Best Buy. Yeah, and it sucks because like I said, I think that we're going to go in a full rotation. Right now, physical media is dead, but I still think there's a market out there for these things, especially like I explained last night. There's no guarantee that, especially after the strike and residuals and everything else goes up, you know what these jackasses are going to do? They're gonna hedge their bets. They're going to cut their costs. They're gonna be like, yeah, we'll give you this much money. We're going to take your shit off of here, or it's going to be part of our decision making on how long we keep it on there, who we sell it to, who has the liability. Yeah, somebody's going to pay you your residual, but it ain't going to be us. And it could affect what we see on these streamers, which would suck for me because I really like HBO Max. I mean, there was a time Blade Runner 2049 wasn't on HBO Max. It's back on there now, but that you're going to see that stuff. So if you didn't buy it, and I have Blade Runner I have every version of Blade Runner on Blu-ray or DVD. But if you didn't have that and you wanted to watch these movies again, you can't. And now there's not going to be a physical place for you to get some of this stuff. So I really think that eventually we're going to get to a happy balance to where physical media, I don't think it'll ever be like it was like in the 80s and 90s, but it'll be there. It'll be an option for you. I don't think it's going to go the way of the dinosaurs. Yeah, Bass Reeves is really important. The fourth knows this, but a lot of people don't know this, is that Bass Reeves was the blueprint for the Lone Warrior. Lone Warrior. I'm thinking my first comic book store I ever went to, Lone Warrior Comics, the Lone Ranger. And the reason why you see the Lone Ranger as a white guy with a black mask is because they were not going to allow that on TV. It just wasn't going to happen. Unfortunately, we were at a time in our society to where you were not going to get a black leading man on a show like that. It's sad, but the guy who developed the character based it off of Bass Reeves, and that's why the Lone Ranger wears a black mask. The mask doesn't hide his face. You clearly can see who it was. And if you knew who the Lone Ranger was before, he became that, you were going to know. It wasn't that big a mystery. But he wore a black mask because he was hiding the true representation of what he was. The writer could not put a black man in that show, in that position. So the black mask was a metaphor for we're hiding who the character truly was. William, what's the most prized nerd collectible you own? So pop culture nerd or wrestling nerd? Because if it's overall, you're looking at it behind me. You're looking at if we're talking just in general, because I am a wrestling nerd, then it's this thing right here, and in general. I mean, it literally, like I told you guys before, I could be having the shittiest day, you know, out there, have stress hitting me from all angles and have a lot of things not going right. All I got to do is walk in, and whatever shelf this is sitting on, you know, it instantly makes my day better. It instantly takes the focus off of whatever may be ailing me. So if we're talking prize nerd item in general, this thing is heavy. It's going to be this. It's Ric Flair's name on it, so you guys can see that. And I hope to get this signed by Ric Flair one day. And also, it's close behind that are my other two belts. My IWGP heavyweight, that's a 15 pound belt. It's signed by Jay White. For those of you who watch AEW, know who he is. And then the US heavyweight championship belt that's right below it. So those are my top three. My belts really, really make me happy. So yeah. I can't wait until I put the right things up there for you guys to see them. But if you're talking about pop culture wise, the other one that you guys probably already know this because you followed my adventures at Comic-Con. It's my signed Todd McFarlane Amazing Spider-Man 323. And not because that's the most valuable comic in the world, because of the journey that it took to get it. I got it signed by Todd McFarlane in 1989 at the very first Comic-Con that actually 1990, the very first Comic-Con that they held. It was 1989. The very first Comic-Con that they held at the San Diego Convention Center. They had just opened it up, and that was the very first one there. And I got a much younger William Powell and a much younger Todd McFarlane, where you could just walk up to him because not a lot of people knew what he looked like. He had his badge, had Todd McFarlane on it, and we stood there and talked comics with 3 or 4 people, and he signed that comic for me. And obviously, what happened. It got sold 5 years later when I opened up my store, and I always thought I'd get it again. I mean, but I never, I wasn't able to get to conventions for quite a while, and then he wasn't at every convention, and then, it just became a 32-year odyssey. And then when I finally was able to, and thank you, Shannon Bailey, his assistant really helped me get that because I was working Troma's booth. And I couldn't stand in the lines and get the lottery. I literally was, repping Troma and the Sci-Fi Center at the time. And she saw that I had a professional badge, and she would just keep telling me, "Hey, come back." And his line was just huge the entire time. And finally, my last trip last Sunday, the Comic-Con, she sees me again, and she gets me in there, and I got it signed. And I wish I'd have known you were going to ask me that question, but I would have that picture pulled up. I got a selfie with Todd McFarlane and him signing the book, and that's probably one of the only comic books that I have that I'm never going to sell. I've had people make me offers for that, and I'm never going to sell that again. So there you go. All right, we got 2 plus Watchmen TV show Tangent. Okay. I never knew anything about Bass Reeves until you mentioned him. That movie definitely needs to happen. Yeah. Bass Reeves was literally, and when I found that out, and I verified that was true, I'm super proud. And even if whether you watch the movie or not, there are plenty of documentaries on Bass Reeves. I mean, they've had one on the History Channel with History Lawman. The time he was a U.S. Marshal wasn't, like I said, was one of those times where it wasn't, the coolest or safest thing to be us. And here's a lawman enforcing the law, and you can only imagine what he had to deal with while he's enforcing the law. And literally up my respect for the Lone Ranger and what that writer, he couldn't get the Lone Ranger, he couldn't get Bass Reeves. So he worked it around and basically gave you a metaphorical version of him. And I just think that's the coolest thing. William thought and Killers of the Flower Moon will be the largest theatrical release of Martin Scorsese's rare dating. Good. It looks great. It looks great. I mean, it could suck when I see it, but I don't think there's a Martin Scorsese movie that I've ever paid to see where I was disappointed. I don't think there's a Martin Scorsese movie that I can remember seeing where I walked out of the theater saying, "Well, that was some shit." And I've been watching Martin Scorsese movies most of my adult life, so and they just get better in my opinion. Even The Departed, which is one of my least favorites sometimes, because I think there's some overacting in those accents. Even though the people are from Boston and they play up the accents even worse than they are. Ugh. But no, I think like I said, that's a dark horse for an Academy Award right there. Oh yeah, Watchmen with Bass Reeves. That's a where a lot of people. A lot of people didn't know about Black Wall Street, and a lot of people didn't know about Bass Reeves being the lawman and Louis Gossett character. That I had people because we watched that live. We would watch that every week when it would air on HBO. HBO, we would literally watch that, and I had people who were like, you know, and I would tell them this is based on true stuff. The Black Wall Street that happened, and the way they portrayed Black Wall Street in that first episode was very disturbing to watch. I had known about Black Wall Street. I have relatives that grew up in or that are still in Oklahoma from my mom's family. I mean, if you're black, there's a good chance you know what Black Wall Street is, even though it's not the most covered thing in history. You know what it was, but I never saw it visualized. Like I saw pictures, I saw newspaper articles, but to see that in motion like that was like I got that 12 years of slave feeling again, where I'm like, ooh, you mother. But I'm like, it's not. It's history. It's not now. So yeah, that's another. But Watchmen was good on so many levels, man. I mean, it was more than just a superhero show. Johnny Martin, there's a show called Outlaws: The Legend of Bass Reeves with David Aiello. Seems gritty, but I hate the color. Who made the kid? Hmm. William thought on Batgirl directors has hopes that one day they will be able to develop a documentary about the canceled movie. Probably not without getting sued by Warner Brothers. And there's no even regardless to how I feel about that regime. If I'm them, I don't want that movie out. I don't want that movie to see the light of day. If they've determined that it wasn't quality enough for what they were going for after years of bullshit being put out and bullshit almost being put out, then they made the right decision. Then they made some other goofy decisions, but that one is, and like I said, it was different with the Snyder Cut because we saw what was leading up to it, and then the movie got jacked up. With this, I could do without it. I could have done without it ever being made. There should have never been a Batgirl movie at that point to even be talking about. So that's one of many reasons why. But yeah, I don't. If they do one, they're probably going to get sued, unless Warner Brothers gets under new management and they make a different decision. But no, doubt it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Craven because I love that actor. And dude, that trailer. Listen, you had me at biting a guy's nose off and spitting it towards the camera. That's it. The trailer could have consisted of just that alone. It had to been like, can I buy my tickets now? Madam Web, like I said, I think Madam Web is going to allow Sony to weave their universe, pun intended, the way they want to, and possibly bring in their own Spider-Man. Because not everything that they're doing in their Sonyverse necessarily works with what Disney's doing in theirs. And why not? I mean, you got your deal with Marvel. That's great. People love Tom Holland. I can now go watch a Spider-Man movie now that he's not Iron Boy Jr. But if I'm Sony, why, you got these guys in here. You're building up an infrastructure for something. What is it? You're not going to plop Tom Holland in your universe. So if Madam Web does something, then and Spider-Man is supposedly in this movie as a kid. And I guess they're trying to keep him from being killed. So obviously we have a Spider-Man. Does that Spider-Man times out? I don't know yet, but I think Madam Web, I'm looking forward to it because it's going to answer a lot of questions. And I think it's going to augment some of the stuff that's come out. Fun. The guy's so nice they named it twice. The King of the Monsters is coming back. Monarch looks real good. That shot of Godzilla's tail zooming up his back. Yeah, I saw that. That was cool. That was off the newer trailer. But I also like when he's the very first trailer where he's peeking around that corner, and they've just this new Godzilla that they came out with in 2014. He looks something that terrifies the shit out of me. He's the only Godzilla that if I saw him, I'd be like, "Ooh, I need to leave this damn continent. I need to get somewhere where that lizard cannot even think of me." All the other Godzillas are like, yeah, and then the ones that are in the old school ones, the costume, the carpet costume, all that. That Godzilla, when he's swimming through the water, when he's jumping over bridges, when he's fighting Kong. I mean, other than Kong, if I saw something like that, I'm like, get me the hell out of here. And I haven't felt that way about Godzilla since they designed it. And this movie, this show looks great, and there's other monsters too. So, well, I thought I'm background director. I always fuck this guy's name up. Blah blah on talking with James Gunn about working with NDCU. I always thought these guys were going to work in DC again. It wasn't personal against them. I mean, they made a movie under parameters and under different leadership, and it just wasn't what the current guys wanted. But if you look, it was an amicable thing. I mean, they were hurt because they wanted their movie to be. But they even said at the time, if they called us again, we'd go back to work for them. So you never take it personally. You always all your bridges should be fireproof. And Showbiz. He says it's still on the table, and hopefully, God willing, we can still make a cool superhero movie. Hopefully, we can still make something in the Batman universe. That would be perfect. And who knows? You might see them take that movie and cut it up enough to where they can make something relevant that integrates it into Batman Brave and the Bold. We don't know yet. Vance, David, oof. Oilowo was great as Agent Kalos in Star Wars Rebels. Was there anything great about Star Wars Rebels? Vince? Carlos Marcello, yeah, Carlos Marcello. And if you watch, listen, I love Oliver Stone's JFK. A lot of it is bullshit, but it's a gripping movie. Tommy Lee Jones plays what Clay Burchin, who was basically the equivalent of what Carlos Marcello was. Thank you, Anthony. They made it look that way intentionally as a signature look. I just don't like the monochromatic brown and black tone. Okay. Madam Web have Morbius writers, which is not good. Not necessarily, Sally. I think a lot of people shit on Morbius. I think they made a mistake of how they rolled all this out. But I agree with having Madam Web's writers because I think that this is all connected. I think Madam Web is the key to making all this make sense. And when I think there's going to be a wow moment, okay moment when this is all put together. So no, it makes sense for them to be the writers. I actually like that. I thought it was a mess, but it was fun. And I thought for what it was a piece. I never thought of Morbius, as anything but a piece any more than Craven was a piece. And like I said, guys, I'm a universe guy. I know a lot of you are like, just make a good movie. We don't need to make a shirt. Fuck that. For me, at least, you guys are. I can respect the fact that you guys like that shit. I'm a universe guy. All right. When I see if I'm going to your superhero movie, you best believe I'm buying into everything you got coming. Okay? Especially if you announce it as a shared universe, I'm all in. Now, if you just want to do the Batman, that's fine. I'll go to that too. I will go to your standalone movies. Along with that shared universe. So I think Morbius and these were just pieces, and I took them as pieces. I don't know if they did the best job of putting those pieces on the table. So a lot of, to give a lot of people excitement, I think they kind of did it out of order. But once again, I haven't seen Madam Web yet. And I all I think is that people should wait to pass final judgment on those movies until we get that one. Because my mentality, I don't think standalone anymore. To me, if you're making a superhero movie, I'm assuming that if it's successful, you're going to make another one, or that you have a plan, like just James Gunn. James Gunn is not here to do standalone movies. James Gunn is there to tell you a universe story, that's what I'm down for. That's what I want. I think that the connected to shared universe way is the modern way to tell comic book stories for me. I don't mind standalones, and I love some of them, but the comic book genre lends itself to a shared universe. That's why DC did it 60 years ago. All right, Vince, I've kicked Siegel and Sergey's ass up and down Midtown before. Oh, okay, you guys are talking about. Yeah, a lot of people bash it, but then again, like I said, us internet dweebs aren't everybody. So there you go. Good luck on the terrible movie. William thought on Craven Hunter movie will poorly undergo minor reshoots once SAG after. Yeah, that's every movie. And they're probably budgeted. Sony and Marvel and Disney, they usually budget for reshoots. Most guys do budget for reshoots because they know once they watch the dailies and everything, they're gonna come up with different ideas. So they budget for that and they schedule for that. I want to see Marilyn Monroe movie. One that focuses on the tragic parts of her life. I want it 5 hours longer than Blade Runner. Poorly acted. Her say daddy for no reason at all. Watch Bond. I mean, it's not 5 hours, but I didn't think it was that good. But she got nominated for the Academy Award, and I don't think that was Anna DiMara's the best performance by her. I didn't think that at all, and I like her. They only shot like 4 episodes. They didn't even shoot 18 episodes for like 12 months straight, so it's good. What are we talking about? Good, bad, terrible, all of it. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I think I'm going to enjoy it even more once I see it in context with Madam Web. Yeah, there you go. No, William. I think Bob Iger for giving Kevin back his full power. That the idiot that was in charge, Chapek, before it took away from them. Cheap Pack was the one greenlighting some of the shows. Yeah, but Daredevil was gonna be one that Daredevil was one that was greenlit by Iger before he retired the first time. That was greenlit years ago. Remember, when we just didn't know it was going to be Charlie Cox. But even under Feige, I think we would have still gotten a Daredevil show greenlit. I just think it would. I do agree with you. I think the quality once Kevin Feige got his power back, he could have gone on and just kept things going status quo, but he decided not to. And that's like I said. I wish DC would do these things. All right, guys. And let me remind you guys to do this. Like, subscribe, share. Say it like zombies. Like, subscribe, share, and hit that alert button. Also, join the Patreon. Join the Patreon. And I should be getting membership status here soon to where I can have members of my channel. Hey, Vince, at what point do I get members? Well, and there's the tip link again. Copy. Because then we can do membership stuff too. That'll all be fun. All right. Let's see. Ooh, I guess where are we? I lost my place. Oh wow. Be sure to like the stream, share the gospel. Damn it. Well, I've done on Best Buy plans. Yeah, we talked about this earlier. I think it's a damn shame because like it is the streaming landscape, with residuals and the cost of keeping things on platforms, you may not be able to see these things, and there's nowhere to go get them. I'll take a blind. I don't know. I just thought the movie just wasn't very good, and I didn't think that was one of her best performances. William, is there a way to do a gritty Superman in the Elseworlds with the Batman series that we're seeing from Matt Reeves? I wouldn't want to. Oh, and like the Batman, yeah, you could. Oh, there's a lot of ways you can do it. There's a lot of ways they did it during Elseworlds. So yeah, there's a couple examples. Yeah, definitely. Bruce Wayne, the least relatable. Bruce Wayne is the least relatable, but Batman and the environment that Batman lives in is. What are people saying? Heightened intelligence, physical mathematics, great detective, martial arts. Nah, it's the atmosphere and the fact that he doesn't have superpowers. Logically, even low probability wise, it's not high. You could be Batman. And the city and the corruption and everything he lives with, just take a look around any major city that you're living in. I just gave you one. You just listed the wrong ones for it. Sorry. Hunger Games. Yeah, I've never seen those movies. Never watched these yet. Thought on Halloween is being envisioned to potentially launch a film or at Miramax, and as one bidding wise beating A24. I want Halloween to go away. One thought on bipartisan bill named No Fakes Act is being introduced to protect actors, singers, and others from having their voice and likeness becoming identity. I think that is great. I don't know if it'll pass, but I think that's great. And that's what I mean about this new reality of AI. Um, the genie's out of the bottle. The tech is not going anywhere, but we can regulate things and make it livable. I'd be shocked if Best Buy doesn't keep physical media on their website. I think they'll definitely keep physical media on their website. All right. William F. Passed Act would hold people and companies liable if they produce such digital replicas without consent. Yeah, because you're basically, my name, my likeness is something I worked on. That's mine. You shouldn't be able to fucking do that. It's kind of shitty, actually. But that's the growth we're going through. William, can you please explain to me the difference between an omnibus, a trade paperback, and a graphic novel when it comes to comic books for Marvel and DC? I've always assumed they're the same. All right. An omnibus is massive. An omnibus takes. I wish I was at the store. I could show you some of the ones that I have there. Omnibus takes a giant swath of an era. Like, give you an example. Got to do it on the computer, so because I just ordered a Fantastic Four omnibus, the Hickman one for somebody. All right, so when you look at trying to show you here. See, like the original Fantastic Four omnibus has Fantastic Four 1961 all the way to Fantastic Four number 30, and it has a 19. It's they're usually huge. They have like an entire era, and the one for Hickman has has his entire era that he was a usually in my experiences omnibuses encompasses an entire era. Now, when you're talking about a trade paperback can be anything as small as a series. Like for instance, look up the trade paperback for Daredevil Child's Play. It's the series of books that came right after Elektra's death, the when he fought up against um, the Punisher. It was Daredevil versus Punisher, and it was a 4-issue series that they compiled into a trade paperback. Most trade paperbacks will compile a limited series or a particular block, like usually a 4 to 6 issue, not too much more because it becomes expensive. The whole purpose of a trade paperback is to get you into the comics. Once you buy, it's thought that once you bought the trade paperback, you would trade it for something else, or you would eventually start buying those books. That's the whole purpose. A graphic novel, a lot of people use graphic novel and trade paperback in the same sentence sometimes they're synonymous. However, the actual definition when it comes to graphic novel, especially when you're asking me about Marvel stories, Marvel's graphic novels were contained stories within the graphic novel. They weren't collected editions of anything else. Like Marvel graphic novel number 1 is the death of Captain Marvel, the only Marvel character that stayed dead. But the Marvel graphic number 1 is that specific storyline. It's not connected to anything. It doesn't necessarily lead to anything. It is a completely self-contained story within the covers of that particular one. Marvel graphic novel number 4 it introduced the New Mutants, and that was their self-contained stories. Now they led to something else, but that story is a self-contained original story. That's not copied from anything else. X-Men, Man, Love, God Kills. That's a graphic novel. It's not compiled. So the old Marvel standard of a graphic novel is an original story told in a magazine or wide bookshelf format. Yeah. So there you go. I hope I've DC is a little bit different. DC graphic novels are a lot. DC does more series graphic novels, like The Dark Knight was a graphic novel series. But DC also does the Marvel way too with the self-contained. DC does a lot more. They originated the graphic novel series, but The Killing Joke was a graphic novel. Batman, Son of the Beast, first appearance of Damian Wayne as a baby. That's a graphic novel. Son of the Beast was a self-contained story within itself that didn't necessarily need to be connected to anything else. And The Killing Joke was, even though there were ramifications from the Killing Jokes that spread throughout Batman's comic, Barbara being put in a wheelchair was something that reverberated throughout the entire series for years. That story with The Killing Joke was self-contained and originated within that format. Amazon, yeah, especially if you got Amazon Prime. I keep hearing different things. It's not all physical media being removed a bit by just DVDs or the Blu-rays. I haven't. We're going to go in depth tomorrow because I found out. Like I said, I watch Campia show every day, and that's how I found out that they were doing it. And then I saw the headlines. So let's see. Like I said, to me, when we're going to talk about the impact of it going away, and like I said, I always tell you guys, I don't necessarily envy um you millennials and Generation Ys and Zs and all that. I don't envy where you're at, um, without because you don't have the availability of these things, and they were world building things that we had. Listen, we all have the internet, but I can tell you that life before the internet was just so much more, so much more vivid. And that time when the internet was just coming into our lives, but it wasn't saturating our lives. That time where you still had one hand on physical media and places like Borders, places like Blockbusters, places like coffee shop, places that you went to gather. Um, it was a perfect cross section. And I think when you don't have these gathering places, you you lose what I call spontaneous encounters, random encounters. And these are where you meet people that are outside of your bubble. The internet, like I said, and getting things on the internet, getting a video on the internet, that's great, it's convenient, but you never have to get into that space, and meet people, you never have to, you never get to sit down or have the luxury of sitting down. Like a lot of people, if you get a digital comic, that's great. Yes, you get the same story, but when you go to that watering hole with all of us geeks there talking about comic books, your world broadens every time you meet people, no matter who it is. Every time you meet somebody, your world broadens. And I think that when you eliminate these things and places to get these things, the world shrinks and we lose that edge. But we'll talk about that more tomorrow. All right, we're gonna swing around here. William, why do you think WWE decided to release Claw in December? Is it the anniversary of one of the Von Erich brothers, or was it more about the award season? Probably wanted more about the award season. No more ducks. You know what? Why did I even highlight you? Um, yeah, I want more, but like I said, the only way I can justify these, especially the Ric Flair one, I can sell the Ric Flair at the store. So that's actually a sample. So I justified that one, but they're trust me, I've always wanted to have them, and I want to get more. William, who you got winning, Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes? Cody Rhodes. By the time it happens, though, it won't mean as much to me. Tommy Farron Spider-Man book is a true treasure. You got to treasure twice. Yeah, and this time I'm keeping it. William found in Las Vegas with the Seagulls, and personally got hop on board to fund the Golden Nugget and yeah, yep. But yeah, that's not too far off from what will happen with Vegas. He's the only thing that was able to go into Indian territory, which is the modern day Oklahoma, and not get killed. That's what people forget, William, about Bass Reeves. Yeah, and also that's a law that spreads to this day. The only people that can go on Indian territory are U.S. Marshals. Everybody else has to go through them or be accompanied with them. Yeah, some of the Target locations. Yeah, Target got rid of theirs too. We're going to cover that tomorrow as well. It's a sad it's a sad state. Yeah, and it just makes me angry. It just makes me angry. I mean, I know it's 100 years ago. It's literally 101 years ago when it happened, but 102. It just makes me angry because why it happened. They just, the racists at that time, we had our own area in Oklahoma. It was prosperous, and because of segregation back then, they created their own wealth, and it wasn't about being segregated from those people who pulled this off. They just couldn't. They did not have enough respect for us to see us living that way, and they burnt. I mean, just couldn't let us be. So, and it just aggravates me, and yeah. So, but like I said, it's part of history, and watching it on Watchmen play out like that, and it was very accurate. If you read the history of Black Wall Street, it's very accurate. Let's see. I mean, he'll have his shot to be a villain. I mean, maybe a villain in DC. William, did you like what you saw from the Lakers today? Yeah, especially from Christian Wood. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Christian Wood. His rebounding is also offensive rebounding, and I like the way he takes up a lot of space, and that's going to help Anthony Davis have an MVP season. But see, yeah, I understand a lot of people want to see it out of curiosity, but I don't think curiosity is a good enough reason to damage your brand. You're probably not going to get me to sing very much at all. Let's see. I was not a juggalo back in the day, but I know a guy who is in his 50s. Uh, all right. Let's see. Pulp Fiction, favorite part. Oh, wow, I'm really behind in the chat. So yeah, it's 500 subs and I can get memberships. Okay. Still quite a ways away from that. Yeah, which is why, like I said, a lot of that took place in Born Again, and which is it's weird because now they're calling this Born Again, and I don't know if it's going to be the same. And you have to apply YouTube; it will open up in your studio. Yeah, I think I did. All right, William, are you looking forward to DC bringing back Elseworlds titles versus DC versus Vampire? Yeah, they got a whole list in there. That's one of the things we're going to be going over tomorrow, because they're highlighting that at the New York Comic Con. All right, let's see. Spider-Man: Knight's Falls, Knight's End, and Knight's Quest are collected into a massive omnibus that um goes from Bane's intro to Batman where he takes a mantle, and omnis are massive. Like, yeah, yeah, and that's a pretty big one because each of those stories, that's an era right there. So like right there, like if they'd have just done Nightfall and it would have been a smaller thing, that would have been like a trade paperback issue. But the fact that they did this was an entire era, and that was like an entire 2 years, 3 years worth of books. So yeah, that's the way it was. It's huge. I hated that story, by the way. I just hated Bane because I'm like, okay, all Batman's rogues gallery. This is the guy who does all this. I'm like, come on, man. Ramo William, did you catch the trailer for Monarch? Yes, I did. That dropped tonight. It's looking real good, both plot and effects. Do you have any plans with it? Yeah, we're gonna watch it as it airs. We're gonna do like we did Star Trek. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, where are we at with likes? Uh, 13. Yeah, give me the 20. If you guys can give me the 20 likes, I think that probably does a lot for my algorithm. And those of you guys, most of the majority of you guys that are gonna be watching later on, hook me up, man. Help me grow this empire. All right, let's see. Yeah, I miss rental stores. I miss good bookstores. I mean, Borders was great. I don't like Barnes and Nobles, and Yeah, fun with physical media. Do you actually own the movie? With streaming, you could lose anytime streaming service goes out of business, or they decide that they don't want to pay the residuals anymore, and it's not worth their while. They can just say, you know what, it's just no longer cost effective for us anymore to keep this on here, and we need the space for something else. Why are we paying? Is anybody watching to see with physical media? If you have it in your hand, whether it's popular or not, you still have it. If it's not getting enough views on streaming, then they get rid of it. Then you don't have it anymore. So I know most of the movies I love, I own. All right, at 102. Yeah, like SEPTA channel tremendously. They help channel. Like I said, I'm learning more and more on adventures. They're showing me a lot about how all this works. And like I said, I was focusing primarily on the other network when I was getting, and I needed to because I wasn't good enough yet. I didn't know what the hell I was doing yet, and I used the point extra allowance to get better. And then it got to a point where I felt comfortable, doing my own format. Um, and then I had to decide, as we were going, what kind of show I wanted to do, what kind of atmosphere I wanted to create. I knew there was a path to 1,000 subscribers already. I know what that path is, and I just didn't want to do it. You guys will see that, if you watch my show, or if you watch the Saturday Night Show, you watch Brad, there are certain things that in our community that you might be used to that are not here, and they're not here for a reason. And that's not to knock those guys. It's just that this is not the kind of environment I wanted to create, and I would rather be stuck, at a certain amount of subscribers than have it been put on steroids, and then the expectation be some of the content that I see, and I'm just like, I can barely watch it myself. Why would I want to create that? So okie dokie, where are we at? Hmm. But yeah, werewolf for the sake of okay. You accidentally sent something. All right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Just Grayson attempted to become Batman the first time, and Knight's in, right? Obviously, Morrison's Batman and Robin. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you had Azrael, which was a disaster. Azrael just was beaten out. I mean, he almost killed Bane, and that was not the way they wanted to go. So I have my you probably, I don't know if you can hear it. Can you hear it? I have my massager on, and I have it on the low back right now. That's why you see me leaning back like this. Because I see it, and it pops my back. I wish I had one of those massage chairs from because like this just sits on my chair. That's why you hear it. But the massage chairs where you can just sit in there, like you go to the mall and you put your dollar in, and they just go up and down and everything. I would Those are like $2,000 though, so you're never gonna see those. No, no, not torturing a mouse. It's like I said, you can kind of can you see it? I don't know if you guys can see it. Yeah, here you go. You guys can see it. They're covering I my it's literally this big. So yeah, that's what you're hearing. And when it's moving like that, it's really doing its job because it's taking my all my 250, and just leaning it back, and it pushes me up so that I lean back, and you can feel it just separate those discs. After a long day, I need it. All right, guys, I think we are winding down. I probably need to eat and watch replay of the Lakers game, get some of my graphics and stuff ready for tomorrow because I won't have a lot of time once I open up the store. I will be streaming with you guys right in the middle of the day, so I need to get that stream ready and put that in the Patreon. So I got a lot to do. So at 106, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Um, let's see. I'll answer a couple of different. Let's see. Question William: why does your massager sound like a squeaky wheel? Though? Because it's moving the chair. Hear that? I'm sitting in the chair and I'm leaning back against it so that it's actually the massage things are pushing up against me and forcing me to reposition myself, or it's repositioning my body. Here, hold on. Hear that? That's the massage chair going up against the chair and me at the same time. I don't. This chair's not like locked in, and I'm leaning back and forth so that I can read and all that. So every time I do that, so that crack you're hearing, it's bringing the chair up. But if I turned it off, there you go. See? But, all right. It only picks up the direction you pointed in. Yeah, I could turn my massage chair off, but like I said, during my my Saturday stream and stuff like that, I don't have it at the store. So there you go. All right, guys. Breaking news: Michael Caine just announced he's retiring from acting. I thought he already did that a couple weeks. Yeah, because he's 90. He's like, I think I've done it enough. But yeah, I thought, yeah, congratulations. I think he's 90 years old, and you can't. What is he left to do? He's done it all, man. He's done it all. All right, guys. I will see you, Patreons, and everyone else this afternoon, 2:00. Then I see you again. I think I am going to go ahead and do the stream at 9:00. Even though I enjoyed that late night stream, I think I'm going to do the stream from the actual store this time because there's actual stuff that we're going to talk about that I need to have at the store. So tomorrow, 9:00 Pacific time. I will see you guys then. And until then, enjoy your weekend. And I hope I become part of that enjoyment of the weekend with the streams we got going on. And 988. I want you guys to say it with me. I know you're sitting at home right now. I want you to say it in unison with me. 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline 24/7. Call, text, or chat. I'm running out of reasons to for you guys to recite this to everyone around you. I think you know why. I think the people in here in this chat and in our group understand the weight of what this is here for. But my goal is for you guys watching it on the rewatch. Hey, listen, I may not be with you live, but this is here with you whenever you need it. You may be watching my show early morning, late afternoon. You might be going through something. Hell, you might even be listening to this show to get away from all that. And that's one of the greatest things that's made this entire YouTube experience worthwhile is some of the messages I get from people that tell me, that they were having a bad day. It was good to take a break from that bad day. Or, they listened to the show and it changed the direction. I didn't necessarily save their life, but it got them out of their doldrum. And who knows? One of these days, I might get something in my inbox saying, "Hey, I was having a hard time the other day, and I used 988, and it helped me." That'll make this whole damn thing worth it, even if I never draw a dollar, if I never get monetized, if I never get rich, which I'm never going to. But if I never, become one of these bigger guys at 30, 40, 50,000, if somebody's watching this show and they're influenced to take, a more positive direction, it's worth it. So 988. Dial it if you need it. If you don't need it and you're happy, continue to be happy. And I will see you guys later on today, believe it or not. I couldn't leave this because I did answer this before. Yes. The answer is yes, Anthony. I explained it earlier in the stream, but yes. That is literally what it's there for. All right, now I'm going away for real. Bye.